Hello and welcome to Neo IAS. We are familiar with many freedom fighters whose names took prominent space in the history of Indian independence. But lakhs of people sacrificed their life for the sake of their nation. One of the youngest freedom fighters and martyr whose legacy has been limited to Bengal is Khudiram Bose. Today, we are going to discuss in detail who Khudiram Bose was, what were his revolutionary activities, and what led him to become a martyr of Indian independence. Before that, let's look why Khudiram Bose is in the recent news. Our Union Home Minister Amit Shah on December 19, 2020 paid a homage to the freedom fighter Khudiram Bose at his native village in Paschim Midnapur during his 2-day visit to West Bengal. Shah said that Khudiram Bose belongs to all of India and not just West Bengal. He added that Bose went happily to the gallows to sacrifice himself for Indian freedom movement. Now let us look who Khudiram Bose was. Khudiram Bose was born on 3rd December 1889 in a small village in Midnapur district of West Bengal. Life had been difficult for Khudiram from the start when he lost his parents at a very early age. He was brought up by his elder sister and her husband, and they admitted him to the Hamilton High School in Tamluk. In the early 1900s, when Khudiram was at his early adolescent years, happened to hear a series of public lectures given by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh and Sister Nivedita, and he got highly inspired. He was drawn towards revolutionary activities and he actively participated in the protests against the British in 1905 when Bengal was partitioned. He became a volunteer at the age of 15 and quoted his first arrest for distributing pamphlets against the British rule in India. He joined the Anushilan Samiti, an early 20th century Bengali organization that propounded revolutionary activities to drive British out of India. Within a year, he learned to make bombs and took part in full-blown revolutionary activities. It is said that he would plant bombs in front of police stations. During this period, the Chief Presidency Magistrate of Calcutta was Douglas Kingsford. Kingsford earned much ill fame among the nationalists for his harsh and cruel punishments to freedom fighters. The revolutionaries decided to take revenge on Kingsford. Knowing this, the British government soon transferred Kingsford to Muzaffarpur. But the revolutionaries didn't switch their target. Thus, in 1908, Khudiram Bose and another revolutionary named Prafulla Kumar Chaki were assigned to assassinate Douglas Kingsford. Both Khudiram and Prafulla Chaki readily agreed to the assignment and reached Muzaffarpur. Multiple attempts were made to assassinate Kingsford. Their initial plan was to throw a bomb in the court, but they dropped the plan since a lot of civilians might get injured. And finally, on April 30, 1908, Bose threw a bomb on a carriage which they suspected was carrying Kingsford. But sadly, the carriage was occupied by the wife and daughter of a barrister named Pringle Kennedy. Police started the lookout for the suspects. Prafulla Chaki committed suicide before he could get arrested, and Khudiram Bose was arrested from a railway station named Veni, and he was brought to the court. At the court, his lawyer argued that Bose was too young to be able to make bombs. But there were enough evidences against him. And finally, the verdict was being read out that Bose would be sentenced to death. Hearing this, he smiled, and the judge asked him whether he understood the meaning of the verdict. Bose smiled and replied that he understood the meaning of the verdict, and he commented that if he was allowed some time, he could even teach the judge the skills of making bombs. And on August 11, 1908, Khudiram Bose was executed. So this is the story of Khudiram Bose, one of the brave and young freedom fighter of Indian independence. Thank you.